everyone. Welcome back to the Awaken Hero podcast. I'm Michael Foster. If you are reading the book or did read the book already, I'm in chapter 12, and I'm going to be sitting here with Mr. Sonnenburg, who is one of the creators of Winspiration Day. Now, in the book, we talk about certain things, and one of them says, fill in the statement of what you are. So I am joyful in the sense. Now I'm just going to ask you, what do you think you are?
I am Wolfgang Sonnenburg, and I am encouraging.
All right, perfect. And the next one thing I would say, so it talks about what your superpower is. Now I stated that my superpower is changing people's mindsets in a case for the better. Now a lot of people could look at me saying, oh, that's so subjective. But the way that I would see it is not only by changing people's mindsets from a negative point of view, not so much at a full political standpoint, but just an everyday standpoint, like the way that you would look at life. Now, the example I did give in the book was when I was in high school, there was a lot of people talking to me, complaining, saying how their day's not going so well, stuff like this, stuff like that. And I would always think to myself, like, especially because you have to always take in consideration what people are going through, especially at home, the home life, because things are never perfect. And I'm blessed to have a home and a family that I have like right now. But for the people that I do know have a pretty good home life, then it comes down to when I say, so why do you think today's so bad? And then they always like, I guess, fill in the example of, oh, I have to study, I have a test, I have to do all this stuff, and it's so stressful. I'm like, yeah, I feel that. But then when I tell them, I'm like, but there's a lot of places around this world where you may not have the chance to get an education, or it could just be so much worse in these different type of senses. And I'm just like, it's not so much changing their personality, but it would definitely just be changing the way they think about certain things. And I could definitely give you another example of that, but I would like to hear what your superpower is. What is that?
I serve the world by creating awareness. And we can just take the word thinking, because what they're happening there is not thinking. It's just a kind of mind activity, kind of feel an emotion and express the emotion. And they don't understand you are not that emotion. You have emotions, or most of the time you create them and you're just not aware of it. Because what is stressing you on the outside, get real, it is on the outside, but your emotion is inside. So I feel it should be different out there. It's my decision, it's my perceptive, so it should be different. The moment you realize everything what's in me, I can control. I can decide how I feel. And then your superpower is used to decide how you feel. You're not changing directly what's on the outside. Maybe you're sitting in school and don't like the teacher. But if you're embarrassed or blame him or whatever and think he is the stupidest guy on planet Earth, that is your idea. And maybe he gives you good information about the topic he is teaching. And if you, so stupid, blaming him, you don't get the good information. So be aware, everything what's in you, you create the chemistry in your body. So stop judging, and life is so much better.
I agree 100%. I love that answer. I can see it in definitely people every single day, and I always tell them, you have the power to choose what you believe to think. And especially now in a lot of social movements, I see it, that looking at things around you, if you do feel down in a sense where something does have you bugged, or if you do feel like this can't, or something can't be done, look to a lot of people that have been through some of the worst times, and then they will give you the key to think in that way, to say, I can do it. Because the truth is, you can.
And it's okay, I give you a little twist to this. Because when you say you have the power to change something, that is totally true. But I like to make people aware, wow, Isn't it interesting how you use your power to feel shitty? It's only because you use your power for that. And it's stressy, huh?
Mm.
But if you're not using your power to make all the things up on blaming and victimizing yourself and feeling shitty, and just relax, focus on your breathing, and it's so much easier.
So much easier.
Understand you have the power to make it worse for you, and it is the same power to make it worse and the same power for good. Mm-hmm. Because I believe if people understand that it's the same power, that it's just a decision where I use my power, then they can't not so easy escape, because if you say the shit is there and the power is to get out of it, then they could easily say, I don't have enough power to get out of it. But here, if they get the awareness that they used all their power to dig this shit hole, then you don't need to stay there. You have the power. It's natural. You live in energy. Energy is not just like a whole, like air and everything, and energy is flowing through you. You're not, when people say God and I, or like Jesus said, God and I are the same. Energy is, and it's flowing through me.
Yeah.
Maybe you heard even from atom bomb. Atom bombs, or what do you call it in English, better English? The atomic weapons.
Yeah.
It's just a little atom where all the power is in.
Yeah.
Did you count your atoms in yourself?
I would probably choose not to.
Yeah, but then you get an idea how powerful we are.
Yeah.
Or Proctor says, you have so much power in you, you could lighten up whole Toronto.
Yeah.
It's just our awareness where we use the power. We always use the power. We always have it. So make conscious, constructive use of it.
Mm-hmm. Now, the next question that was shown in the book was why, like personally, why my voice matters or why your voice matters. Since you're just going a little bit off on that, why do you think your voice matters, or in general, why do you think everyone's voice matters?
If I just take simply my body as a human being, to really feel super healthy and fit, does it matter to have a foot, a hand, an eye, a nose, or whatever? So whatever you are in life, you're part of an organism. If it's a family, if it's the classmates, we are all part of an organism. And like my body, I don't want to get rid of my liver. I think it's important to have it. So it's like in a family, everybody, and if we would go today also, maybe we keep it for another call, the morphogenetic fields, every thought is supporting the morphogenetic field. So what we think creates. If you said, you make maybe your mom said. So the power is there again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can help people, you can destroy people. You matter a lot.
Even I can totally see what you're saying, and I can put it probably into a political sense if you would like to go there. I know a lot of people, especially because here in Canada, because I know that you're in Switzerland right now, I believe.
Yes, I'm in Switzerland.
Yes, worldwide call we got going on here. So what we have here in Canada is that, again, in Switzerland, is that we have democracy, we have voting, especially also there. The power that people don't really realize that they have, especially when it comes to voting, and also the ability of free speech, but also the limitation that we have. It's truly powerful that people can create change. And I'll give you an example. One of the biggest examples, Martin Luther King. He caused a movement that not only changed the way people looked at Black people in America, but it's still coming down in other societies today. And that's the power that people's voices have to not only change their community, but if they choose to, they can change the world with it as well. And that's what I think a lot of people don't believe they have, because a lot of people, and including myself, when I was younger, I felt so, I guess, one within myself, and I wasn't too sure if I should say something or if I should express myself in certain ways. But it's when you come to yourself and you come to believe in yourself, that's when you have the ability to speak. And that's when the real change comes into effect, especially when you're talking about emotion, and when you say controlling your emotion, or believing that you have the ability to make you feel how you feel, and how you have that power within inside you to create positive change.
Yeah, you said also the word should. If you use the word should, then you are already dealing with a kind of programming. Otherwise, you wouldn't think about should. Who said what you should? No, that is not. But it just comes up the example for the listeners or viewers to just let's play a little game here, a thought mind thing. I guess everybody knows what a lemon is.
Yeah.
So just, if you for yourself close the eyes and imagine you go in a kitchen at home, and maybe you have lemons at home. I don't know if it's in the fridge or you have it open somewhere in the kitchen. Please take the lemon and then go there and take one knife where you have the knife and cut the lemon and make some slices of the lemon. And then take one slice and cut it in half. And then take one half of this lemon and put it in your mouth and feel it. So those people who ever did it before, they feel now something different in their mouths. The watering. But isn't it crazy? We both know, and everybody, we are not in the kitchen, we don't have the lemon, but we can imagine and feel it.
Yeah.
And be aware of that. I think a situation and my body is reacting to it. And if you're not aware that you think the situation, then you can feel shitty, you can have a stressy situation, you can have fear for a test, for a teacher, for other person, and you didn't realize that you were thinking about the stress and the body is just reacting. So we need to have the awareness, all the feelings we have, we create. Or we can change it directly with a different thought. Because it always needs to be aligned. If you have a stressy feeling, you must have a stressy thought. It's not no other possibility. Yeah, you can't lay on the beach, see the sunshine, the water, you're laying there, and in the same moment have the fear of being in the mountains and the fear of heights. It's not possible in the same moment. You only can get the fear of heights if you create your thought, oh, here's going deep. If you lay on the beach, you can't have this fear. Yeah. And you see, you create all this. Most people don't know what the world is really outside because they're dealing with their fantasies.
Yeah.
And that is what we say, we just get real. That you have, like you said, the power, you decide which emotions you have. And I know a lot of people grow up in a society, or even in my house, when I was a kid, my dad want to try to manipulate, because when he is stressed, he says, hey, you do this, or you don't do this, or we punish you this, or blah, blah, blah. And I go, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. So I started to look, how is my outside? Because nobody taught me that I can control my inside. But as an adult, and the idea is here, little heroes, you are the heroes, you don't need to wait. If mom, if dad, if teacher, whoever is upset, they are upset. You can stay calm, not to piss them off, but just, no, this is your topic and it's not my topic. I take care of my topics, of my feelings.
Agreed. Another question. So in my life, I said that my heroes are my parents, not only because they've influenced everything the way that I'm thinking right now, and just because how I was growing up as a kid, and now I'm a young adult, but I see them in such a high standpoint on everything that I do. Like whenever I was playing sports, how they always told me, you can do it. You can go as far as you truly wanted to, or even if, and it comes down to academics, how it said, how they say, whenever you put your mind to something and you truly believe in it, or you truly put your mind and your heart into it, you can come out with great things. And the idea of believing everything in a positive nature that came from my mom, because she's a motivational speaker, and the hard work ethic came from both my parents, but also was very influenced from my father, because man, that math helped when I was younger. But they're just one of those people that definitely can change the way I was thinking over my life in such a positive manner to make me who I am today. And I can't give the credit to anyone else, because when you're an only child, your parents are your best friends pretty much. So I would then conclude with that my heroes are my parents. So, in your point of view,
Love your parents. First of all, they gave you the life. Without them, you wouldn't be here. But also, don't underestimate if something good is that you did it.
Mm.
They were on the outside.
Yes.
They can support things, but you decided your beliefs. You decided what goes on in you. You decided what you make out of it.
Yep. No. I see. I can see what you're getting at. I was just more so getting into the point, like they didn't necessarily tell me what to think. It was more like they influenced the path for me to think the
Make
way
your own experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's good. Yeah.
So when it comes down to that point, that's when I would give my heroes my parents, because who needs a guide? Would you rather have a negative guide or a positive guide? I had my positive guide for my parents, and they're great people too. And I also know that my mom is cooking me breakfast right now, so that's a bonus. So,
yeah.
So on your perspective, who would your heroes be?
There's so many people. I mean, you mentioned now something very good, but also there are heroes for me. People really stressed me in my life.
Yeah,
because I didn't like them in the beginning. Maybe I blamed them, but for me, they are all PETs, personal emotional trainers, and some really stressed me, but stretched me, because if you go in a gym and everything says, I make it easy for you, I train for you, your muscles will not grow. So there's some people that brought me in situations which were very, very, very stressful in my life. But if I look back now, wow, those moments I didn't like at that time turned out to be great moments, because I strengthened my muscles. So in this way, I ideally say, wow, first of all, be grateful to be alive, grateful for all your experiences, and then decide what you do out of it. And as we live on the planet of duality, there is no bad without good. There is no good without bad. You get all both. The question is, can you see both? So if you have a stressy situation, look, where's the benefit? What is this? And harvest the good.
Wow. That's a good way of thinking at it. It's always good to come back to people and see the way that they think. And I like the way that you're coming down to like a deeper conclusion more than just what's on the surface. And I think that's what a lot of people, including myself, need to realize in other circumstances. Instead of looking at just the surface of the cake, you kind of gotta dig deep and see what the filling is. But no, I could
Well,
totally.
there's a difference between brain and like we talk about soul.
Mm,
So whatever it is now, a little hero, but I would maybe translate it also, there is a soul. But a lot of education system, society is not really taking care of the soul. They're taking care of the brain, learn this, no, mind, mind, mind. So if I ask you then a few years later and you answer from here, it is like in a computer that is just what was saved there. It's just, okay, the programming, and that you can.
mm,
But your soul or your inner conscious, like we hear some people in their, like in narcosis or hypnosis, they can say and see things. Wow. Because the brain is not only good, it is also a huge limitation.
we only access
That's,
15%.
that's why it was good what you said. Your parents allowed me to make my own experience, my own judgment, and not just programming me too much.
Mm,
And if you go in the word hero, all the films, the books, what is the hero? The hero goes to kind of difficult situations and learns and trains. And ideally has a mentor who helps him to go through. But the hero is always someone who is interested also go through a challenge.
mm,
Otherwise, you stay weak.
yeah. Oh wow. You'd be a good comic book writer. But yeah, so you're getting at to the point when schools talk to us or they teach us how to essentially walk through life, they're more so talking to our mind instead of what's in here, which in what we believe, at least what I assume, you need both to actually co-inherit into this world, especially now, because I believe, at least my point of view, I think there's a little bit too much people that only think through here instead of through both, especially because I know when we were talking prior, when it comes down to things such as war and what the military is sometimes doing, a lot of it, a lot of it is thought through here instead of through both. And that's where the world also has to come together and believe that sometimes you don't need to necessarily only think through here because we have this feeling inside for a reason, right? So you got to use it somehow.
Yeah, I'm not familiar now so much with the Canadian school system, but we need to understand where the school system comes from.
Yep.
It's not so long ago we invented this so-called industrial age.
Yep.
We created conveyor belts, and we had some whatever blue collar, white collar workers and everything.
Yep.
And this is whatever for the very first time. Before thousands of years, the world was different. If you weren't farming, you didn't know always how will next week be the weather. But with the conveyor belt, suddenly it was every day the same. Mm. So then we came up with the idea we can create an education in school who prepares people for exactly the same. Now this life is over. And in the future, we need to deal with new things. And those people in business who are most famous, if it's a Zuckerberg or is it a Steve Jobs,
yep,
or Jeff Bezos, what did they learn in school to create that? Nothing. There was no teacher who could teach them that.
Yeah.
The teacher, at best case, gives you some basics that you can write and maybe get some numbers good together or whatever. But how life should be, what you want. Steve Jobs could see what people really want and created a totally different phone. And Nokia at that time had 47% market share. And when the iPhone came out, they were laughing. The Nokia phone of no, just nothing. Half a year later, Nokia realized they had no chance to compete anymore because they ignored the people. see what people really want and need, and help them to get that. And in school, most of the time, kids are more used what the teacher needs to get through because what government said something. And that is often for the past.
Mm.
And we need to encourage the little heroes. There is basic good stuff in schools. Learn something. It's good that you can write and have all the basics. But don't believe that the teachers all know what the future is. They don't have the crystal ball.
Yeah.
No, they just can prepare us a little bit, and then we go through life. And let's see this interview. Did you 2 years ago know that we were sitting together here on one Zoom call? No.
Well,
Nobody
actually, if you
knows
didn't
what
know
comes, and
that,
we don't know what next year will be. Or as the saying is, if you really learn good to sail, then it doesn't matter which waves are coming or which wind this is. You can't plan life like that. But you can learn to get the courage and the self-esteem. Whatever problem comes, I will handle it. And I know some other heroes, and together for sure.
yeah, no, agreed. One more question. Actually, second last question, because I might have another one sooner or later. But what would your advice be, like your personal advice be for the adults and the children of the world?
First of all, I guess you need to say to everybody, love yourself. And I mean just simply, love to be alive. Think every day how great it is to be alive. Gratitude for being alive. People forget it and stress themselves with everything. And one day, I guess we all need to die, and you can't take anything with you. And people waste the time and not living. How much time, there's a saying, isn't it? Not depends not so much how much years you have in the life. It's so much more important how much life you have in the years. That is so much more important.
Wow, that's a big quote.
And really understand. Most of us experience it. We were once sick, and now we were healthy again. You can lose money and win money back, make it again. But time you lost for living, it's gone. Time is the most important. So know yourself, who you are, what is your nature, and live it. And live it full out.
Wow. I really like that quote where you just said, it's not how long we have to live in years, it's the life that we have in the years. That's a little, probably quoted a little bit wrong, but it's what you just
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it hit me like a
not
brick.
So important how many years you have in life. So it's so much more important how much life you have in these years.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a saying, most people tiptoe safely to death.
Wow, that's a good one too.
Steve Jobs, most people know he died at 55.
Yeah.
He always had the feeling he will die early. But with this young year, what he put all in, if it's the Pixar studios he made, the Toy Stories, the films, the movies, he became a billionaire with Pixar. He created Apple, he rescued Apple. He was part of bringing the iPhone out, and he changed with iPod and iTunes, the music industry. He changed the photo industry because the cameras and the iPhone was well. He had huge impact. Yeah, so everything is possible. Not that you need to do it's not about the business always. A mom can be so valuable for giving the joy of life.
Yeah. No,
and if we go through it, so we don't know really what it's all about. But that is one thing is for sure. Time is the most important thing on this level of existence.
Agreed. No, I see exactly what you mean. Like you don't, until you come to believe within yourself and that can't, because some things can't be taught in the classroom. When you come to the belief of what you believe that you can do, the opportunities are just essentially endless. But then again, I don't think anyone's going to be floating by themselves anytime soon. But yeah. um, so I guess my advice that I put down in the book, that I believe that should be advice to the adults and to the children, at least for the first side, to the adults, it would be to listen to their children, because even though they're still young minded, they're into the natural state that they haven't been hit by society yet, because they're into the natural state of being a human. Not only are they smiling, they're joyful, they're having fun, things like that. When
Yes.
I guess the when people become adults, like later in their life, they're still affected by, we are in this society, but then again, this society was built by them. So it's not like they're coming into terms of how we're naturally supposed to be. It's more like how we're led and forced into being. So
Yeah.
when it comes down to, like, I believe that my title, or the I am title of me being joyful, is hit by, I guess, being a kid, essentially, because a lot of people tell me, like, throughout my whole life, everyone's always told me, Michael, you always smile, or Michael, you're laughing at some of the stupidest things I've seen, or Michael, you're thinking this way, or Michael, you're thinking that way, and it's just born within me. And I guess, like, whenever I talk to, like, some kids, I always feel like I can, like, relate to them. It's just like, I remember, like, that's that's me, or that was me, or there's some things that they do and I'm like, okay, that still is me. I'm like, maybe I should grow up a little bit. But um yeah, for the adult side of things, I could definitely tell them to listen to their kids on the things that they truly want to do, or listen to their kids whenever they talk, because even though they're still kids, they're the base of how being a human is, and they're the base of how a human should essentially be in this world if it wasn't affected by how society is today. But, like, then there's certain things, like one kid fighting with his brother, then that's when the adult can step in, and that's when he cannot listen. But when it comes down to how they're being by themselves, definitely pay attention. I guess for the children's side of things, I was mentioning how they have the power of truly being able to do what they please in this world. Like how you're saying, you're able to control your emotions. You're able to have the power with the little cells that you have inside of them, and the brain capacity that you can have on inflicting something that you can talk to a person. You can change someone's day just by waving at them, or you can change someone's day just by smiling at them, or you can change someone's day by saying the words hello. And I've been told that throughout, especially since, like, I'm in first year of university right now, and a lot of people tell me, they're like, my first memory of you was just you were smiling and you came up. Like, when they first look at me, like, I'm not a small guy, so I'm pretty tall. And usually when they see big guys my stature, they get scared. But then, like, when they actually meet me, it's just like, oh, you're actually a nice guy. So, yeah. So I guess the one thing I could just go off with talking to kids is, do what you want to do, because what you're saying, you don't know how long you're going to be living for. You just know that you got to make the most of life with the time that you're in right now. So, and that's exactly what the point that I was giving off of. And that's what I can tell the kids, because, they're the future and the world needs it. So,
Yes, and when Jesus said we should become kids again to the adults, and the stupid thing is you have so much joy as a kid, and then you grow up and give the joy away. What for? Learn something new, have more conscious, have a better overview of everything. Learn to handle a bigger company, a bigger ship, or bigger family, or whatever. Learn all those stuff, what you can't do in the beginning. But don't give up the way. And there's a big difference. Become like a kid, not childish, but become like a child again.
Mm.
And you know, kids can even see in the dark. Kids can read blindfolded. It goes away in 8 years, but nobody is teaching us again. So we lose so much, but don't lose the joy of being alive. That is the most important thing. And
That's
maybe one more, whatever you dream, be careful. Whose dream is it? Is family, is society saying, oh, you should be a doctor. Okay, now I want to be a doctor. It should come from your heart. If your heart tells you you should be a doctor, fine, do it, but not because it comes from the outside. And if you feel from inside something totally crazy, we have a program from Bob Proctor, and he said, you don't need to justify what you really want if it comes from here, not even for yourself.
Yeah, I could totally see exactly what you're saying. And I'm just gonna make this last point. If you choose to make another last point too, and then we'll have to go. But hopefully we get to do this again. I was watching this one TV show, forget exactly what it was, but there was a quote that one guy said, and it hit me so hard, that the abilities that every single one of us have and that we choose to find within ourselves and unleash, it can be used to us personally, but if we have something so strong and something that, let's just say, the world or your community desires and your community needs, you have to use your power to better society or better yourself and better everyone else, because especially in times like these, like, the world needs it, and the world needs better thinking people, more common sense, love. Love is huge, and a different in a sense of way of thinking about how to live life, because a lot of people are going through some paths that it just hits you so hard that you just wish you could change. But that's when the people have to choose to use their power and inflict that change onto society. So that's all I'm going to say. But we are going to have to go. But it was amazing to talk to you, Mr. Sonnenburg. I hope we get to do this again.
Thank you, Michael, for taking the time. Maybe my last wish is, we just had winter here and snow, and there's so many snowflakes, but everyone is different. Go out in the woods and count the leaves and look at it. Everyone is different. And we have now 8 billion people on planet Earth nearly, and every has a different fingerprint. So that should make totally clear you are unique. Don't copy someone. Don't try to live someone else's life. What have you to give? What is your special gift? What you should give to the world?
Amazing send-off. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Hope to see you guys next time. Have a good day.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you all.